Well, it definitely looks like UXW Bill's got some rust issues on his little truckling. All this is gone. He's gonna have to get that fixed one of these days. Then he's got a little something up here where the truck's been scratched pretty deeply. It's down to the bare metal. So I think he's got a body man lined up here in town that's gonna do some free work. You know, UXW Bill's gonna do some computer work, and then the body man's gonna fix his truck. Some kind of deal like that. But today's video, we're going to talk about how you exchange one of the HVAC programmers in a 1997 Pontiac Bonneville. Oops. Okay. As I'm sure you guys all remember, when I first bought this car and it became winter time, my dad was driving it to and from his workplace every day for 5-6 days a week, and he wasn't having any heat in the car. So I immediately began diagnosing it. UXW Bill and I thought it was this little device, one of the HVAC programmers for my car. So I bought another one, and that didn't fix it. Well, what ended up being the problem was one of the electric motors. Hi! One of the electric motors under the dash, behind the glove box and the airbag system, had a cracked wheel. So I had to replace that. So, since this little programmer here isn't in such good shape, the buttons are kind of worn and there's some smudging around it, we're going to take this panel off and we're going to replace it. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, now that panel is broken loose, it's just a snap fit. I started right here and I just pulled it out and kept working around, going clockwise to the bottom, then across the bottom, then over here to this section, and I've eventually pulled it all out. But the problem I'm having is, I'm not having a problem. I thought I would have to pull the shifter all the way back, and, well, I will have to lower the steering column to get this decorative cover removed. So, take that back up. Now, this whole unit is exposed now, and we can see that we have 4 Phillip head screws that hold this controller into the dash. So, we're going to remove those, 2 on each side that just go into the speed nuts, and then we'll pull out the 2 electrical connectors and remove the component. Alright, now that you have the 4 screws removed, you simply grasp the component and pull it straight forward. And that exposes the 1 electrical connector that's in the back. That's kind of a pain to get off because it's got a little tab that's kind of recessed, and you have to work with it to get it out of there because it's got a good bite on that circuit board to which it connects to. Since this little connector is recessed into the back of this casing, you might have to get a small screwdriver to push down on that tab so you can unlock the connector from the back of this component. Anyhow, this is the junkyard one that I bought off of a junkyard for 60-70 bucks. It was discounted because the buttons weren't in that good a shape, and some of the plastic had rubbed off, like on the fan control button. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to put the one in that came with the car. And you can see it's been sitting out in the trunk a while. It's kind of rusty. But side to side, front and the back, they're the same thing. So Oop, our CD player came undone. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug our electrical connector back in and make sure that it snaps into place, because we don't want any error codes from the HVAC system that's saying it can't read the program, or the program is not there. So now that this is back in the dash, we're going to attach the 4 screws, and then we're going to turn the car on and see if everything works. Alright, now that the programmer is back in the car, we're going to turn the car on and see if everything works like it should. Okay, so it's lit up. It says we have fan. All the buttons work. The temperature button works. Off, on, recirculate, fan, front defrost, rear defrost, and then Celsius. So for those in America, 72 degrees outside. For those anywhere else, it's 22 degrees Celsius outside. That was a quick little guide, video, self-explanatory little thing. How you take one of these HVAC programmers on a Bonneville of this era, 1997, or a Pontiac, or a Buick, or Oldsmobile of the same era, and you exchange it. Pretty straightforward. You got to take your time to be patient, because you're using this cheap plastic that GM loves to use. And anyhow, we got ours done. Everything's back into place like it should. So what we do next is we line up our plastic dash bezel to about where it goes, and you take your fist and you just get it kind of seated into place, and then you just kind of push it in. And if everything's lined up like it should just snap into place. And if you get some of that nasty foam stuff on some of the controls, don't worry about it, because it'll clean right up with like some isopropyl alcohol, or some other kind of light cleaner. If you have any questions or video responses or comments, comment. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube's best channel.